The Chase Sapphire Reserve, launched in the fall of 2016, it quickly amassed a cult following as one of the best value credit cards out there. At that time, it offered unlimited guests at Priority Pass lounges. The annual fee was $450 and it was offset by a $300 travel credit per calendar year, meaning you could get $600 worth of credits in your first card member year. It also was the first mainstream metal credit card. It forced American Express to switch its platinum and gold cards to metal. But Chase has slowly chipped away at the value proposition on the Sapphire Reserve. First getting rid of the unlimited guests in lounges, changing the travel credit to every card member year to get rid of double dipping, and then in 2020 they raised the annual fee to $550. Sure, they added a few more benefits, but nothing to write home about. But then enter Claudia Schiffer. No, not 1990s Claudia Schiffer, 2025 Claudia Schiffer. And yes, that is a purse-size Sapphire Reserve in her hand. Claudia somehow convinced Chase to update the Sapphire Reserve in 2025 to fit her lifestyle. Okay, that's a joke. But in 2025, the Sapphire Reserve did get a much-needed update. However, this came with an increased annual fee, making the Reserve now the most expensive card in its category from any of the big US banks. And Chase is going the coupon book route of providing lots of credits to offset that new annual fee. So in this video, I want to answer the question, is the Sapphire Reserve still worth it in 2025? Hey credit warriors, welcome to the show. My name is Ben Hedges and on this channel I cover US credit cards, personal finance and luxury travel. If you like the sound of that, do subscribe. But let's get into the video. So the Sapphire Reserve now costs $795 a year, making it the most expensive card in the premium travel segment. For reference, American Express's Platinum card, which is now its closest competitor, is $695. Although that card will be increasing its fee later this year, the rumor was confirmed on the Amex earnings call. Now in this video, I want to show you the value that you can get out of the Sapphire Reserve by adding up the welcome bonus and the credits that I think are easy enough to use to give true value and see if that offsets the annual fee. We'll look at first year value and then subsequent year's value too. So the current welcome bonus is 100,000 points plus a $500 credit for Chase travel. I'm going to assume that you get 2 cents per point for the points, since the points guy values them at about 2 cents a piece. That's based mostly on transferring to airlines and redeeming that way. But also with the new points boost feature on the card that they added when they updated it, you can now get 2 cents per point on some business and first class flights in the portal and on hotels in the Edit, which is the hotel program on the card, and then also slightly lower rates than that on hotels and regular flights. And while some people saw points boost as a downgrade since you lost the 1.5 cents per point in the portal on everything, I've actually been pretty impressed with the amount of flights and hotels that can be booked for 2 cents per point. This Centurion card holder on Reddit was also impressed. But anyway, where were we? So I value the points at 2 cents per point. That gives us $2,000 in value for the bonus and $500 in value for the travel credit. The $500 travel credit, by the way, has to be used all at once, otherwise you forfeit the rest. But I assume if you are getting this card, you are thinking of using the bonus for a trip, so I will assume that you use all of the travel credit. So it's $2,500 in value, a good amount of money to get from a bonus. We then have another credit that is once every 4 years, but I assume that you would use it in the first year, and that is $120 for global entry and TSA pre-check. So I'm going to lump that together with the bonus in the first year, giving us a total value of $2,620. Let's now add in the other credits to get the full first year value. But first, if you have a load of credit cards because you've been watching this show or reading other credit card blogs, then you may be struggling to keep track of data on each one of them. Well, that's where the app Max Rewards, the sponsor of today's show, comes in. It's really handy. It's the credit card management software that the pros use. It shows you your balances, your points and rewards balances, your bills due, and even data banks don't give, like credit utilization percentages across all your cards, even if they're from different issuers. It also tells me the best card to use for the maximum rewards in each category and also at local businesses. You tell Max Rewards what points are worth to you, and it takes that into account as well, even going as far as to tell me how much of a limited bonus category I have spent so far. Look, I've spent $2,700 out of my $25,000 at supermarkets for the year on the Amex Gold. I don't think I'll hit that limit, but it will be a useful feature. If you have the Pro version, Max Rewards Gold, it's even more useful since it activates all of your Amex offers for you so you never miss a deal. And when you get all your Amex offers activated, new offers that you never knew existed appear in your account and it activates them too, saving you even more money. You can get a week-long free trial and then a 3-month discount on the annual plan if you wish to continue after your trial ends with my link below and using the code HEDGES25 when you sign up. Or just download the app through my link and check out the free features, of which there are many. Okay, so with the benefits and credits, Chase claims a ridiculous amount of value here. On their site, they claim $1,200 in annual travel value and $1,500 in annual lifestyle value. That's $2,700 if you add it all together. But how much of that do we consider actual tangible value? So the $1,200 in annual travel value is made up of the $300 travel credit that this card has had since the beginning. You will definitely use this, okay? Then we have a $500 credit, $250 in each half of the year, for the Edit, Chase's hotel collection. I'm going to assume that you use this as well, since this is a travel card. If you don't travel, there isn't much point you getting this card, okay? So you're probably gonna be able to use this because you do travel. So that's $800 in value, which actually already offsets the annual fee. But then we have some other things in the travel section. Priority Pass Select, that would be $469 if you were to buy it. But in reality, who would spend $469 on that, okay? Every credit card under the sun, or every premium credit card under the sun, gives free Priority Pass. No one would actually pay money for it, at least not in the US, so I'm not gonna count this. Then we have the $120 for global entry. We have already counted it in the first year value, so I'm not gonna count that either. So for this section, it's a total of $800 per year, which, like we said, does offset the annual fee. Now let's look at lifestyle value, which Chase claims is $1,500. There is a $300 credit for Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables, which is a dining program in partnership with OpenTable. It's $150 per 6 months. I will count this because even if you don't live in a big city where restaurants in the program are likely to be located, you can spend $150 in one go, all right? It's not like $20 a month or something. So in a 6-month period, you're bound to be in an area where you can use it. For example, I went to DC a few weeks ago. I could have used it there. I'm definitely gonna go to New York at least one more time this year before the end of the year. I could use it there too. Next, we have DoorDash benefits. A Dash Pass worth $120 a year, not counting that. Then monthly credits worth $25, but only $5 is for restaurants, and then you have $20 for groceries, but you split it into two $10 amounts, so you have to order groceries twice per month. I'm not gonna count something that you have to jump through so many hoops for, so sorry DoorDash, none of that's counted. Then we have a $300 StubHub credit. For me, I would not use this, all right? I rarely go to concerts or events, so sorry, I'm not gonna count it at all. I might end up using it just because I have it, but that's not true value, okay? Since you're not saving money that you would have otherwise spent. Next, we have Apple TV and music subscriptions for $250 per year in value. Again, sorry Chase, I'm not counting it. I would use it if I had this card, but it's not something that I would spend money on anyway. Then we have $120 in Lyft credits, $10 per month, and I will include this since I probably would use this for Lyft rides, and I think many other people would be able to use it pretty easily. Then we have $120 on Peloton per year. I will not count this since it's not the majority of people that use Peloton, and I personally don't use it. All right, let's now add all of that together. So for the travel credits, I'm gonna value that at $800 per year. And for the lifestyle credits, I'm only actually valuing this one at $420 per year. So together, that's $1,220. So that would be the annual value in a normal year of card membership. Let's now add in the bonus and the global entry credit for first year value. And that's gonna be an extra $2,620. So together, that is $3,840 in first year value. Deduct the annual fee from both of those, and we have $3,045 for first year value and $425 in subsequent year value. So you still come out positive, and that's a very strict analysis, throwing out any credit that I personally wouldn't use, but maybe you would. So you can go in and do the math for yourself and see how much value you would get out of it. And also, this doesn't include the points that you would earn on your spending. The Reserve has some really great points earning rates, like 8 points per dollar on Chase Travel, 4 points per dollar on flights and hotels booked direct, 3 points per dollar on global dining, and so you'd get a lot of value back each year through that spend too. For example, if you spent $3,000 on flights, that's 12,000 points, which at 2 cents per point would be worth $240. But anyway, that's all for you to work out. Next, my conclusion. So I am going to conclude that this card is probably worth it for the demographic that it is targeted at, okay? People who travel a lot and dine in restaurants a lot and probably live in or spend a lot of time in big cities like New York, LA, Vegas, etc. Since there are just going to be more restaurants in the dining programs, more hotels in the hotel program in those big cities, and you're also more likely to use things like Lyft and DoorDash there. For me personally, I would say it isn't worth it anymore, okay? Since at the moment I live out in the countryside, I don't travel that much, even though I probably would just about break even on this card, paying $795 up front is kind of a big hit. At the moment, I spend a lot of money on my kids' education. That's where I'm spending money instead of going and dining and traveling and stuff. So I really don't do the amount of travel or dining that I used to. I also still have the Amex Platinum, so to have both cards really wouldn't be worth it for me at all. But anyway, don't let the fact that it isn't worth it for me influence you. Look at where you spend money, your travel and consumption habits, etc., and you can work out if you would use each of the credits we talked about and add it up, and maybe it would be worth it. If you are interested in this card, I will put a link below to the Sapphire Reserve and the Preferred, and you can still get the 100,000 points on the Reserve plus the $500 credit and the 75 on the Preferred. If you prefer to get the Sapphire Preferred, it's a lower commitment, just 95 a year. But on the Reserve, that 100,000 points is ending soon, so get it while you can if you want it. The link below is a referral link, so it helps out my show if you use it. So thank you very much if you do. Also, don't forget you can get a free trial of Max Rewards and then a 3-month discount after the trial ends. Click the link below and use Hedges25 as the code when you sign up. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.